The topic for lesson 10 is political representation. Dear learners, you are welcome to another round of interactive video lesson. In the last lesson, we focused on the meaning, levels and forms of political participation. By now, you should know that since direct democracy is impossible in most political systems, people have to select, elect, or appoint officials who will represent them in what we now termed as indirect or representative democracy. In this lesson, the concept of political representation will be discussed. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to 1. Define political representation. 2. Explain the varieties of political representation. 3. Highlight the ideal roles of a representative. During the lesson, you will answer a multiple choice question and engage in discussions to share your understanding and perspectives on political representation. Meaning of political representation. Political representation is the process through which the attitudes, preferences, viewpoints, and desires of the entire citizenry or a part of them are with expressed approval shaped into governmental action on their behalf by a smaller number among them with binding effect upon those represented. Andrew Haywood, in his explanation of the theories of representation, gave these models of representation as follows. We have trustee model. A trustee is a person who is vested with formal responsibility for another's property or affairs. Delegate model of representation. A delegate is a person who is choosing to act for another on the basis of clear guidance or instructions. We have mandate model of political representation. This is an idea that in winning an election, a party gains a popular mandate that authorizes it to carry out whatever policies or programs it had outlined during the election campaigns. Then we have resemblance model. This suggests that only persons coming from a particular group and who have shared the experience of that group can fully identify with its interests. Now, let's look at varieties of political representation. There are different varieties of political representation. They include territorial or geographical political representation. This implies that for the purpose of holding election in a particular country, the whole area should be divided into a number of constituencies or electoral districts for distribution of seats into legislative houses. The constituencies may be either single member or multi-member. We also have functional representation. This signifies that the base of representation should be occupational composition of the society. The idea is that social, economic, and professional groups having special interests of their own should find a place in the national legislature. And we also have proportional representation. This one stands on the principle that votes should be weighed and not counted. It has 3 ingredients. The first ingredient is that there should be a multi-member constituency. The second ingredient is that a candidate should be elected not by gaining an absolute or relative majority, but by obtaining a quota of votes that is equivalent to the total number of votes cast and divided by the number of seats to be filled. And the third ingredient is that there should be a mathematically exact, as far as possible, representation of the electorate in the legislature. The method of proportional representation can be put to application through single transferable vote system. According to this device, the voter is given ballot paper having names and party symbols of all candidates on the left side and blank columns on his right side. He or she has to fill these blank columns with figures 1, 2, 3, and so on in order to show his or her preferences. For us to get electoral quota, we have to divide the total number of valid votes by the total number of seats plus 1, and we had the answer, with 1. A candidate securing votes equal to or more than that of the quota is declared successful. If some seats remain vacant, the candidate having least number of votes is eliminated, and his or her vote are transferred to another candidate according to the order of second preference marked on the ballot paper. This process continues until all the seats are filled up or only the required number of candidates remains in the field after the elimination of other candidates. We can also, carry out proportional representation through the list system. In this system, the candidates are grouped according to the labels of their political parties. Each party submits a list of its chosen candidates to be filled up or even less than that. The voter is asked to vote for a particular list that also means his or her preference to the candidates in the order given in that very list. At the time of counting, the election quota is determined in the same manner as given above. Then, it is seen as to which party has secured votes, in what percentage, and the seats are apportioned between or among them according to the same percentage. It may be that some parties either fail to have a clear-cut percentage entitling them for certain seats, or they may have to forego some of their percentage of votes. Now, let's take the first multiple choice question. Which of the following is not a form of political representation? Option A, geographical, B, proportional, C, functional, and D, single transferable. The feedback on MCQ1 answer. The correct answer is D. If you choose A, B, and C, then you will be incorrect because geographical, functional, and proportional are forms of political representation. Now, let's continue with the lesson. What are the ideal roles of a representative? For effective representation, a representative can play any of these roles. The first one is what we refer to as policy responsiveness, where the target is the great public issues such as poverty alleviation, removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria that agitate the public process. The second role is service responsiveness, which involves the effort of the representative to secure particularized benefits for individuals or groups in his or her constituency. We also have the role of allocating responses. We call it allocation responsiveness. This refers to the representative's efforts to obtain benefit for his or her constituency through pork barrel exchanges in the appropriateness processed through administrative interventions and among others. In Nigeria, this may be in form of securing more constituency projects for a particular area. The fourth role is what we refer to as symbolic responsiveness. That involves public gestures of a sort that create a sense of trust and support in the relationship between the representative and his or her constituents. At this point, let me invite the e-tutor for this interactive session to come and organize the discussion session. We are going to consider 2 questions. Discussion questions are, number 1, as a representative of the people, what are the roles you are expected to perform? The second question for our discussion is, highlight and explain varieties of representation you know. In this lesson, you are being exposed to the meaning and varieties of political representation. It is established that there are territorial or geographical, functional, and proportional representation. Also, in this lesson, we highlighted the roles of an ideal representative to include policy responsiveness, service responsiveness, allocation responsiveness, and symbolic responsiveness. I seize the opportunity to thank everyone who has contributed to the production of this narrative video lesson, including the executive producer, producers, directors, camera operators, sound technicians, editors, and e-tutor, among others. You have all done an excellent job. Thank you very much, and God bless.